It's Steph, Silas, and my husband Terry right here. And our last episode, my son Silas got in trouble. Sixth grade, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So the purpose of this series is that, yes, I am a teacher, but I need to implement what I preach and teach to my own sixth grade son. Sometimes being a parent is different than being a teacher because, again, as a teacher, I teach groups of kids in the community, and right now I have an individual. And what he does impacts the community at school and vice versa with other kids too. So in this series, sixth grade parenting, my last episode was my son and how this happened. And myself as a parent, I have flaws also. I'm not a self-righteous preacher coming on here. I have flaws. Episode 2, which is this, and we're talking about final outcomes and processing a conflict with the school and with our kid and disciplining. And the next episode will be about the planner. Episode after that will be the planner again. Episode 5 will be a bedtime. Episode 6 is grade checks. Episode 7 is community building with teachers. And episode 8 is talking about privacy. So today, what we went through in the last episode is that, so let's say your child got in trouble with school and they called, and the first step is to listen to them. Listen to them and trust them first. They're the ones who work with the school community and not just your individual child. Listen. Trust the adults there first. Take a breath. Step 2, remember that your child has the same temperament when they were a baby and a toddler, but their decisions now are influenced by serious moods and peers now. They're obsessed with peers, but they're still very moody and figuring their emotions and anger out. Step 3, if you have a partner, you converse with them before you talk to your child because you have to be on the same page. If you're not, it's going to cause disruption with your discipline, and your child's going to hear 2 different messages, which confuses the child. Step 4, talk to your child as a team. Step 5, there needs to be some type of discipline or learning that happens. I'm going to add that in, or learning. And step 6, check in and praise for improved behavior, but consistently check in. This problem just doesn't go away on its own. It needs praise. It needs reinforcement as your child gets older. Again, this is my page, Steph's Middle School Souffle. Welcome. Let's review again. When a child is in 6th grade at age 11, common age for cliques and pairs, impulsive, talks before thinking, peer focus, needs to save face with peers, they're moody, they're self-absorbed, extremes of emotion, constant motion, they're restless, physical aggression is common, they're sensitive about their changing bodies, and they like to challenge rules and test limits. Silas here is 12, okay? High energy, adult personality begins to merge. We've talked about all of this. The step that I talked about is know your child. So I know that, Silas, you have good boundaries. You are very assertive. You've been that way since you've been a kid. When some kid is bugging you, you say stop, right? You are funny. You are a leader. You have strong voice. You're passionate and compassionate. You have intensity, and you're honest. Okay. The areas that get you in trouble, though, is that you have low frustration tolerance, right? You get easily annoyed sometimes and very intense. And sometimes you're moody, right? Like a 6th grader. But before you say at the school, my child would never do that, I need you to remember, parents, that they actually could. They could do that thing that you didn't expect because they're around peers. And they're different. And again, they're peer absorbed. So step 3, talk to your child about what happened. We just had in this last episode, you had wrote an email saying to this kid, what'd you say?
Shut the F up.
Shut the F up. Stop talking to me, right? Okay, so you sent an email, and this kid, I don't understand how the teacher got a hold of it.
He reported me. To my dean.
To your dean. Okay, so we're gonna take some notes, okay? So you said shut the F up. Why?
The kid just says, like, stop in, like, that annoying way.
So he's annoying you?
Yeah, I tell him to stop, he won't. He just keeps doesn't he? He doesn't know when to actually stop. He just keeps doing it.
Does he do it just to you?
Yes, just to me. Because he knows I don't like it.
Okay, so you've told him to stop. Do you move away from him?
Yeah, I don't have any seat anywhere close to it.
Okay, so what's another... Did you tell the teacher?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about this because parents, this is a common thing that happens in middle school. Why didn't you tell teachers this or your parents this?
Because I don't want to be a snitch.
Okay, that's very common. Doesn't want to be a snitch. And what's a snitch?
Tattle-tailing on other people.
Okay. Yeah. That matters, right? You want respect among your peers, and you don't want to seem like a tattletale. You want to seem like you can handle it, right?
Yeah.
But now we got to this point. And now you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Do your other friends get annoyed with this kid?
Yes.
Could your other friends, do they tell them to stop?
Yes.
And this kid still does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for telling me that. So, we still need to work on some problem-solving issues with how to deal with annoying persons. I feel like you have... You told him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You told him to stop. But he kept doing it. And how long has this been going on?
Whole year.
Okay. When it gets to be that long, what do you need to do next? Now it's time. You are not going to be a snitch after that.
Report to the dean.
That's right. Because if this kid's doing this to you, he's doing it to others. Okay, so rather than letting it go on this, there's a difference between being a snitch, right, and being a good citizen. Because this kid needs to learn to stop too, and you're doing that out because I know it doesn't seem like you care for him, but I need you to care for...
He's getting in trouble.
Right. You need to care for him as a human, though, too. And caring for somebody as a human means that you take it to the next level so an adult can fix it. Because are you peers fixing it?
Kind of.
How?
They're going to tell his dean.
That's it. You did right, but you all have to come together. Can you come together as a group?
What
If you came together as a group of kids to the dean, is that being a snitch?
I don't know. Who would do that?
You and your friends.
No, he doesn't annoy them.
You
It's
just
me
said,
because
though,
it gets on my nerves.
you just said, though, that he bugs other kids.
No, Mom, I said other kids tell him to stop because he's annoying me.
Oh.
That's what a friend group.
Okay, do you think your friends would come with you as bros to the dean?
Probably not.
Why not?
It's just, I don't know. No, I've never seen it happen.
A good friend, a couple good friends would come with you.
Maybe
I know.
one or two.
I know that you would do it for your friends.
Yep.
You would. And you do have two friends that would come to you and say, this kid is bugging Silas. Then you're not a snitch, are you? You have a group. And I hope you would do the same to your friends. Right? Okay. So now let's talk about this. So I'm just going through the process. That's a very common thing. Doesn't want to be seen as a snitch. But middle schoolers, if you're feeling like you are getting picked on or bullied as parents, you need a good set of group friends that will go with you to an adult. A good friend will go with you and vouch for you and stick up for you. Okay? So friends do matter. Just telling my son, well, you just need to tell an adult, sometimes that doesn't work. So I need you to find some good friends that will go to the dean. Now, as far as you go, that's another thing you got to do, parents. You got to go back into the discipline part. I want you to read this. Now, we just did a whole episode on smartphones and posting on phones, right? Phones are 24/7. I'm telling you, parents, you can get in bigger trouble with a smartphone than you can with a laptop. And it is ironic that my son just got in trouble for an email. We all need to recognize this. I saw this at our high school that you went to wrestle at. Before you, what's this button?
YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. I don't know.
Instagram. You know all of these. You don't have a smartphone. Or how about this? Pinterest. Before you post or email. Okay, in 6th grade families, your kids do this and they don't think it through because they're trying to be funny sometimes also. And it gets them into a lot of trouble. What do you have to say? Right here.
Is it true? Is it inspiring? Is it hopeful? Is it kindness? Is it necessary?
Now you put up a boundary and you cussed in that boundary. Not okay. But you were angry. I understand that. I would be angry too. But you have a digital copy of what you just did. And they sent it. So you got in trouble. There was evidence, right? So digital copy. So what you put on the internet, people, on your phones, there is probably a digital copy of it somewhere. You do not want to do this. Okay? So make sure you think, is it true? Is it inspiring? Is it kind? That wasn't kind. I don't expect you to be buddies with this person or say, let's be friends and go play with puppies or whatever. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But it was not helpful. You already said no to him, and now he had evidence and reported you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, punishment. Usually you'll have some sort of discipline. Did you learn your lesson? Not to send emails, mean emails ever. Ever.
Yes.
Don't ask anybody out through an email.
Not fun.
Right? Don't cuss anybody out on an email.
Had to spend lunch and period 4.
Good, I back them. I back them 100%.
I had to stick in period 4 because the kid was in my class in period 4.
Well, lesson learned. I support them 100% because if we learn this now, you'll probably not learn this. You'll probably not do this again.
Yep.
So right now, your dad and I are going through your school emails to make sure that you're not being inappropriate. Also, sending goofy messages during class, off task. We are checking them right now. That's what prompted all this. That's the consequence. Okay. If we find inappropriate things, we will have a further discussion. Okay?
Yeah.
So the consequence, families, we talked it through. Terry, my husband, and I will go through this Chromebook and go through emails, checking for off-task, inappropriate things. And I'm glad we're catching this mistake now rather than later. So make sure that you have these discussions. It can happen to any 6th grader right now because, again, they're very peer obsessed. But dealing with this, the snitch part, I really think an alternative, again, group of good friends who support each other. So I want you to think about which group of friends could go through to an adult. And if somebody's annoying you for over a month, Silas, you are not being a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
Tell an adult. Now you have courage. That's not a snitch. That person's just being a jerk. And they need to be checked. And maybe they can be corrected. And maybe they can be your friend someday because they got checked. And they need to improve also. That person could be a better person if you got an adult involved. All right. Ugh. Okay, so I'm a parent too. We'll see what happens. All right, next episode. We are talking still about 6th grade, but please, come on now, subscribe, take a look. Peace.